Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the Unknown Podcast. I'm Manny,
Uh, Ricky.
Isaac.
and today we have a couple of different topics for you guys, including Isaac's illustrious Fight Island that he's been wanting to talk to you guys about for so long. So, Rick, how you guys been holding up?
I'm sorry for the laughter. Okay, we really had a very, very, very long, extensive pre-production before we started this podcast.
Yep.
So apologies if I'm laughing too much right now.
It's a lot of difficult technical difficulty.
Yeah, we just did that take like 3 times.
Yeah.
anyways, I'm good. It's nice to be starting our second episode of this, and can't wait to see how this goes.
That's great to hear. Isaac, what about you?
I'm well. I'm glad we were able to actually continue this podcast, which I'm excited about. Hopefully, we can keep doing this every week and be consistent.
Okay, yeah, we're recording from a new app this time. So, Ricky has no background, so he has a natural background. I don't know why.
But Ricky does have a cool background still.
Yeah, he
Next.
has like the comic book background.
I actually had this week's background planned out. Last week was just a generic screenshot from a video game for no reason. This week, because do with our topic, I was actually gonna have like a baseball field in the background
Yeah.
with our theme, with the topic of this week's episode and everything like that. But next week, I think I have something.
Yeah.
So be ready.
Oh snap! Oh, I can't wait for next week now.
I said I think. Okay, let's not.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I can't be ready for next week now. Anyway, so let's get on the first topic. So Florida governor, I almost said mayor. Governor.
Well, you mean
is,
sorry to cut you off, but you mean like the main topic of what we're talking about in this week's podcast.
No.
So
Yeah.
to help Manny out and everything like that. So this is pretty much a continuation from last week's episode.
Correct. Yeah.
Pretty much talking about the virus and everything, and last week we talked about how it affected us in general in our lives, but also and how tech involves with it. This week we're going to talk about it more about how sports. We're going to talk about sports because all three of us in common enjoy sports. We have our own different kind of things and all that stuff for it and everything, and like we've gathered some things around, looked at some stuff around, and I'll take it back to you.
Yeah. So, Florida governor has announced that all pro sports are deemed essential. I believe only in the state of Florida, right? Because that's all he can authorize, right?
Well,
Authorize.
so pretty much pro sports are deemed essential. How? I don't know. Is it? Not really, in my opinion.
I don't think so either.
And all that stuff. But it helps like in that article, which is from the Score. It particularly pertains to two companies in general, which one we're going to talk about later, but one which is something that's still happening is WWE.
Yes.
I don't.
They're still doing matches.
They're still doing
I've
shows.
heard some stories actually.
They're still doing shows, from what I know. They were originally doing live shows. Then they stopped. Then they started taping them, and then they started going back to live shows. But now, there's also talks of them just not just going back to tape shows and everything like that. Because especially after last week, since they like laid off a bunch of people, too,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But
Black
I think
Wednesday, you mean?
I think the topic in general for the fact that the governor, who of course is the same governor that I don't even know I don't know how Florida is right now, particularly with the virus. Like, claiming something that's essential as something as sports is really difficult, in all honesty. And all that stuff.
Having sports now, I don't see how it can happen without fans. But then again, using just like Ricky said, just taping them, or even having like just live sessions of a limited amount of like crew members and people, I think it could work. But is the governor like trying to have a live audience, or just like live shows, just with the the like fighters and like just the people in general.
Well, because like it's supposed to be in difference to just the whole like sports, just sport in general. So that could be basketball with the NBA, American football with the NFL, even soccer and baseball and all that stuff. But as of right now, NBA suspended its season. Baseball hasn't even started yet. MLS hasn't even started their season yet either. NFL though they don't start their season till the fall.
NHL.
NHL suspended their season also. But NFL in particular, like there has been no like mini camps or anything like that, or they're supposed to happen soon. Especially with the fact that at the time we're recording this is a Monday. This week is the draft and everything too. So it's like that's still going in a virtual way. I don't know how. I don't care really. I'll be honest.
It's like Madden, bro. It's like Madden.
We'll see. But the fact that it's like I don't see how all these are gonna get work. I don't know how. Like I said, back to was I don't know how these can be deemed essential. Like for what Isaac just said, like these are you need fans for this stuff. I think in particularly for such as WWE, AEW, and for those two in particularly, and then later on when we talk about UFC, those make sense in a way of doing like recordings and or actually doing them live because they don't require that fan adrenaline in a way.
I disagree with two of those.
Which
I feel like
ones?
UFC doesn't, but I feel like AEW and WWE do.
So wait, you're agreeing with me that AEW and WWE do need to do it, but don't agree with UFC needing to do it.
Personally, no. I think WWE and AEW should just stop, like not stop permanently, but like right as of right now, like stop. Like
Oh, okay.
Stop
No.
taping?
yeah,
No, I get what you're saying. No, I'm saying like it's possible. Like though I agree with honestly. Like should they do it? No, I'm just saying they are capable of it.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
they're all three capable of doing that.
They're capable of doing it because, like I said, of the fact of, with the exception of WWE and AEW to a point. I mean, it's like they don't need the fan audience as much as possible, all that stuff. But what I was trying to get is like with the major four leagues and all that stuff, with the big four leagues and all that stuff, you need that fan interaction in a way, and all that stuff, and everything, all that stuff, especially like watching live of a basketball game with no one there doesn't feel right and all that stuff, especially and all that stuff. Like it's the fact because like you can still see like the audience when you're watching a game and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then like sees like when it goes to like a timeout and all that stuff where they go like huddles and all that stuff or like halftime comes. If that happens, like when you see the players talking to the coaches and all that stuff, you're gonna see like empty seats and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be like, what?
Yeah, and it's like, why is there empty seats there? Well,
And
everybody knows, obviously, but
I'm kind of interested how that plays out though. I know that we need fans for it, which I understand completely. But I think for me too, I'm kind of interested how it plays out because maybe sometimes fans can honestly be a distraction. Especially like in NFL when Peyton Manny was trying to quiet down, the audience because he couldn't talk to his players
yeah,
at one point, and he was just like, "Shut up!" Like he couldn't do anything. So I mean, I know that. I mean, especially fans, they bring in the money, they bring in the revenue. But sometimes they can kind of be rowdy, and sometimes they can even be distracting, and even they can be even destructive. Especially when their team loses, and a couple drinks a night, and they're fighting in the parking lot, and there's more security. So I understand there needs to be fans, but then I'm kind of wondering like, without fans, would it allow the players to focus even more and play a little harder, play a little better? I mean, but players, they actually they're different. Some players feed off the energy of the crowd, and some players they don't. They don't hear the crowd because all they're worried about is the end game or the end goal. So I'm kind of interested. Like I said before, I want to sound like a broken plane record, but I am interested to see how sports would continue on without fans.
Honestly, I don't think it should. But that's the other thing. That's the other thing, though. It's like we don't know what any of these leagues are planning to do, because it's like, especially with this virus, it's being updated on a real time basis, like almost every minute.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on and all that stuff. So it's like, personally, as of right now, I'm fine. It sucks as it is. I'm fine with them having no sports at this moment and all that stuff, because we don't know what's gonna happen. Like, and that's the thing. Like, we're talking about the fans and everything like that. We gotta work like not just the only like you have to like realize like these are the players themselves, even the wrestlers. If we go back to WWE and AEW and all that stuff, these are actual people that can get this still. And
not even like them. That. You got people at the sideline. You got staff.
Yeah.
You got all these other people.
Yeah. That's what. That's where I was gonna get at. Like, not just. It's like it's not about just the fans getting possibly getting the virus if this happens, if there was fans in town. It's also a chance of a fact of player in one of these leagues that might get it. I mean, you have to realize like there were already like 3 or 4 players in the NBA that got tested positive for the virus when the day the league suspended itself and everything. Yeah. So it's like it can happen and all that stuff and everything like that. Someone NHL had a couple players that got tested for it. I mean, yeah, NFL's not until the fall, but New Orleans head coach Sean Payton was tested positive. Now they have been cleared of the virus as of now and everything like since then and everything like that. But the fact that they're still tested positive, like, what if that wasn't what if they were not realized about it, and then say the NFL does tend to start its season in September, and then it becomes this whole thing that was like it starts spreading and all that stuff.
Yeah.
True. Because I see what you're saying, because like I know that everybody feels like, oh, you know, if you don't have an underlying condition, then you won't be affected by the virus as much. But now we kind of see the results have taken a shift, and it actually has affected younger people and healthy people who do not have underlying conditions. So it could be a little scary knowing that there is groups of people coming together, and these are our favorite athletes coming together. I can't imagine, having some players that I actually really like seeing play get it and then like pass away because we were too greedy on entertainment.
Yeah.
But I think I want to say I think UFC and boxing could still have a chance of still promoting some kind of entertainment, because there's only 2 people going at it. You're not having a whole squad of people.
Well, you would have 3 though at max, because you need the 4 probably.
No, so you would need, of course, the 2 persons fighting. You need a ref.
Yeah, the ref, and then you need the 2 docs, right?
And your judges.
Oh yeah, and the judges. Yeah.
And don't forget the teams for that boxer when it between rounds.
I don't think they would need the teams. Maybe coach at max. Max.
How else is that fool gonna help clear his bruises?
He's gonna have to learn.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna have the boxer himself do it himself and everything like that.
Yep, pretty much, bro.
That's the thing. It's like
That's what Fight Island is, bro. They just throw him in a pit, have him fight.
We're gonna get to that whole thing in later, because I'm
excited about that.
Honestly. I really don't think for an individual one-on-one contact sport, also, especially if it's UFC, not only because it involves kicking and everything like that, and then submissions and all that stuff. I don't think they should have no combat sport should be in it. None. I applaud. Don't get me wrong. I applaud Dana White for what he's doing to trying to keep the UFC going and all that stuff. I applaud him for that. I give him props for that he was wanting to do that. But you have to really think. Just right now on Twitter earlier before we started recording, a fighter tested positive for the virus.
What fighter?
I don't remember his name right now at the moment. I gotta find it. I gotta find it to make sure. But yeah.
Right, well, go ahead and find it.
As long as it's not Donald Cerrone, I'm cool with it.
Well, I don't think he's like that big of a fighter. But the fact of it is like if he's on like
still a fighter though.
If he's he's a fighter and possibly in an upcoming card probably and all that stuff. Hey.
What if everybody? Okay, because I know, and then maybe you guys too. But I know that the NBA is actually having like actual 2K gameplay, like
Simulations, yeah.
simulations and everything.
Well, I
And so
know
that's
the Stockton
that
Heat did a simulation actually.
Oh, so
Stockton
on
Heat
two
and Bakersfield Condors did a simulation
on
game
on
so
2K.
on
no,
NHL.
Oh, really?
so
Yeah,
Did
okay,
you watch it?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, was it interesting?
It honestly, it was just like watching like professional an NHL match, but it was like not really that entertaining because like they weren't professionals. It was the actual players playing games. So like
Oh,
it was like cool, but like, eh.
I get
okay,
It
it. I
was
get
just a
it.
fan appreciation. So they were only doing it once, and they said they were gonna only do it once because it was supposed to be their fan appreciation night a couple days ago. So that's what they
Mm.
did for their fan appreciation night. So the two teams kind of came together. So that was kind of cool. But
okay. So the fighter that tested positive, his name is Lehman Good. He was actually supposed to fight in the latest card for UFC 249, but didn't because I got pulled because of an injury. So
Mm.
hey, like I said, he apparently tested positive for the virus. Imagine if he wasn't injured, fought, and the card did happen, and fought. Just saying, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like there's no way out for sports right now. I mean,
no,
I applaud them for trying, but it's just like the most minimal people that can like maybe pull it off, like I mentioned before, is UFC and boxing. Because like I agree with Manny, like one head coach, a fighter, one like person for just in case someone gets hurt, the ref,
yeah.
and then put the judges in a box away from the fight and
Or
like
they can just watch
TV.
it like on Zoom. Yeah,
Watch it on TV,
I
No,
don't even have to be on the island. Yeah,
they would have to be there. You would have
like
to have
in
the judges
front.
there. As much as people how people complain about judges and everything like that with when
yeah,
it
I
comes
guess
to
you're
when it comes to fights, having them on a Zoom call
right. The
to watch a
Well,
Nadine
not on
fight,
Coach.
well, not on
no,
a Zoom call, but like maybe in a separate room where they're able to watch it.
I think they would have to be there right in person to see it.
I think they have the camera angles to do it.
I think they'd have better because they would have more camera angles. Yeah, because
They
you
would
can
have to
set
put
up
more
multiple
cameras.
different cameras. Yeah,
Because if you look at the football arena, they have crazy cameras
That's
everywhere.
that's football. That's
But
football.
this is
Though. You
fighting.
you don't believe
well,
you do you
have you
believe
seen
like the fact that many people like always complain about particular calls and when the league actually tries to do something and then it just gets crazier after that. Okay, so if boxing in particularly, let's go with boxing, does say like judges are gonna come, they're gonna be in a separate room and they're gonna look at cameras. Where are you gonna put specifically those cameras? That's the thing.
Well, I
one on
know
each
one
corner, one on
time.
each side?
Wow, I know one time. I forgot what fight it was, but you can actually watch it like live
Yeah.
on one of the cameras, and it was like virtual. It was virtual. You can like move
Oh,
it
the
like from
360
side to
camera.
side. 360 camera. Man, I forgot what fight that was, but it was like a camera on each ring on each side of the ring. And then there's like the top camera, there's sides camera, and the outside camera. It's like, dude, cameras can do anything, especially if you get the right kind and get the right people to do it.
That's the thing.
But then cost also comes into effect right now.
Yeah, but without having to pay everybody else, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I
and
guess you're
just
right.
and just make that other money only on the camera. Maybe you might have a shot of doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But
Come
then the
on,
thing
if
is,
we,
are those staff members still on pay right now? That's the
dude,
thing.
if I'm just saying technology has a lot of leeway. If a eye doctor sit away from a room and like the thing for you, I think you can have an IT person away from you and still be able to control a camera.
Yeah.
And the fact that even on a Samsung 100, I think we're good. I think technology is perfect and able to actually capture a fight. I feel like there is. Now for group settings, I don't know about that. Like in the MLB and stay out of it.
It's a lot of preparation though.
Yeah.
Unless you just have like a what 2-on-2. game, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, which is the one that Ice Cube has? The basketball league Ice Cube has,
The
where it's
big
like 3 on
three.
3 street rules.
The big
Yeah,
three. What
big
about
three.
it?
They
You can like punch each other.
No, no. It's
no,
it's it's a
but
little
like
more. I don't. Where are you getting with this, Manny?
I'm saying like they would. I feel like they would be able to do something. Cause
No,
it's like 3 on 3 with the ref.
no.
I don't
They
know.
wouldn't
I
either.
feel like that'd be, I
They
feel like
would.
that'd be pretty intriguing.
They wouldn't either. They. I don't think they would.
You don't think they would?
If the
I
NBA,
think
if the NBA isn't gonna play games,
But the
anytime soon,
NBA has a lot more people though that they need.
Big Three can pull. It still can pull people because it happens in arenas.
Yeah, but what? It's like 3 players. I've never seen a game, but I've seen highlights.
you mean like 3-on-3?
It's three
Yeah,
on
it's
three,
3 on 3.
like half court 3-on-3.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I mean, the NBA. I think. Well, I think they could pull it off 3-on-3.
Yeah. I mean, cause what they have a ref, a coach on each side, and then 3 players.
But then that just gives the argument of having the if they can do it, the NBA should be able to do it themselves.
NBA has way more people though.
That's the thing though. Just because that's the thing though. If we say something like the big three can do this, just because it's only 3-on-3 and all that stuff, that just because there is a production to that also with people being there and all that stuff and everything like that. Seeing if a half court 3-on-3 game can work on that and that stuff with no fans, that's just you're just having people say, oh, the NBA can just come back on the season, come back in the next couple weeks. And all that
But they
stuff.
would be able to because there's more people.
Manny,
Yeah.
that's not gonna stop anyone from saying that though.
Yeah, yes, you're right.
And all that stuff. Like you're just like I said, it's not even the fact of more people. It's just the fact of a production. It's production that's everywhere. We're talking about 6 people. That's 2. That's only like what 4 less because it's a 5 on because NBA is 5-on-5 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna say like, oh, what's 4 more people gonna make a difference and all that stuff. And don't say like it's NBA is more people because we just like I said, it's a production. It's you're the only thing you're counting. You're not we're including here is production and all that stuff and everything like that and everything. Like I'm sure the big three also has like almost the same stuff as what the NBA has to do, such as like a medical just in case and everything like that, having the refs and everything like that and all the stuff. Like I said, production team and everything. And all that stuff. Just because the big three is a smaller thing and all that stuff doesn't mean they don't do like as much as the NBA does.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
I think if they were to do anything, I think they would have to let a lot of corners. And I don't know how that would look like. You know, maybe they don't. If they're just having a pickup game, I don't think there's no need for medical people to be there. I mean, like, how rough are they going to get? Or
They get rough.
maybe
Pretty rough.
pretty rough. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they should. Well, I mean, there should be rules, of course. Like, hey, like, relax. Like, we're not trying to get hurt.
That's the thing of the big three, though.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's the whole premise of it.
it's supposed to be like
street
it's
rules.
supposed to be like back in the day in the NBA, like the bad boys from the Detroit Pistons when Jordan was playing most of the time and all that stuff. That toughness and everything like that. And since today's NBA is not like that as much.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So yeah, like if a physical contact like that touch and all that's tough, especially with the virus that can be spread. Especially the virus that spreads just by anything, pretty much now.
Yeah.
So no,
Because isn't it going airborne now, supposedly?
I have no idea.
Or it's been airborne?
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know about airborne. Honestly, if it was airborne, it should have hit the states sooner.
Yeah.
I think everybody would have got it by now.
Yeah.
If it was
Yeah,
airborne.
if it was airborne, everyone would have had it.
Yeah, if it was
And I
airborne,
wouldn't be going to work.
none of it. Yeah, well, I would still.
You would have been going to work. But then you wouldn't have had anything to do. You would.
I would still be home. I'll be home more often. Way more than I should be right now.
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
hold on. If you were working, if it was airborne, nobody was working except from their house, would you have anything to do? If you don't mind me asking.
Who you asking in particularly?
You. Isaac works. I know what Isaac does. I don't think he'd be able to work from home.
So I would still probably be working from home. I wouldn't leave my house.
Well, yeah, but like, what would you be doing for your job? Like, because doesn't the other part of your job like need people to be outside
Technically,
doing
no.
stuff? Oh, really?
It's
They could be from their house also.
they can do it from their house. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's called virtual tour.
Oh God, don't get me started with that, please.
But anyways, go ahead.
That's besides the point. I just like honestly, as of right now, no league should open up.
Yeah, definitely not.
The fact that our president is saying that we can get this done sooner, I was like, are you kidding me?
When they're still trying to find a cure.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
If schools aren't opening up till September, you know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly believe schools are going to be throughout the entire year.
No.
Yeah.
There's already colleges already saying like we're probably not gonna open our schools until 2021.
I say, and everybody watches this video. I say years. That's when we actually get a vaccine.
It's the beginning of the year, you said?
I said I think it might last enough.
Okay, so
I can see that happening.
So like here's the thing. So there's even though leagues have been postponed, most of the leagues they have not said they're canceled as of right now. The NBA has an estimated date of June 14th of when they come back. The NHL says they're supposed to come back the 15th of that same month, June 15th.
My birthday. They're not. But
As of now, the NFL season opener is on September 10th. That is their original scheduled date, even before the virus and all that stuff. So, as of right now, it's like those can change, really, in a quick second.
Yeah.
And all that
honestly,
stuff.
I don't see any of those coming to fruition.
I don't even. Yeah, I was like, if people.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm gonna apologize to the one person that probably does, to the one person that we know that listens to this and is a big football fan, and I'm apologize to him only. There's gonna be no football season.
Are you talking about who I think you're talking about?
He's a big Niner fan. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, that's what I thought about.
yeah.
I don't want to put his name out there like that
Yeah,
and
no,
all stuff. There is gonna be no.
I don't. Fan that we had that one time.
There's gonna be no football season. And all that stuff.
No.
There's no football. There's no college football season. That's definitely not gonna happen.
Dude, there's no little league seasons.
And all that stuff. And all that stuff. It's just the fact that it's like, especially for the NFL in particularly, the fact that they're moving on with this like it's business as usual. Besides the fact of the draft still happening this week, but in more of a virtual presence and sorts and all that stuff. I'm guessing Zoom calls galore and everything like that.
There's just so many windows opened up.
You're seeing Commissioner Goodell just pop up, just walk in from his camera on the Zoom call, and then with the first, it is with the cards like, and with the first pick of the NFL draft, I don't even know who's picking first.
Baltimore. Baltimore.
It's not Baltimore. You're only saying Baltimore because you're a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah, I am.
And all that stuff. And this team selects so-and-so from this college. And it's like, you're just getting that, and then like somehow it switched the camera, somehow the highlight will change to the highlight of this player and everything like that. And then you have like the people from ESPN talking via Zoom about this and everything like that.
They pop up in the top corner.
Yeah, like the top corner. It's gonna, like I said, I think I might actually watch the draft this year, just to see this week to see how it looks. It shows like the player
getting drafted in his room. He's
just to see like this.
His core gets his unplugged.
Everyone's like 6 feet away within the house and everything like that because of social distancing and everything
it's
like that.
It's like the player shocked and just freezes. Like
he's like it's not a picture. The camera actually froze.
Yeah.
Or cuts off, or it just turns off.
It'd be hilarious if like they drafted him, but like his camera froze when he was like this, like he's like turned around talking to someone.
But honestly, sometimes I feel like the only reason why they want to move so fast is, and I don't know if you guys can agree, with the sake of money. You know what I mean?
Duh.
They don't care about people. They don't care about us at all. They want your money. They want dollars, tickets, merchandise. They don't care about it at all.
Okay, let's be more specific. I think it's more the league and the owners, the players themselves. They've done due diligence of helping out with the virus and everything like that.
Yeah,
And everything.
but I'm saying like
but I think
business.
like I think it's more like the owners and the commissioner himself and everything like that. They're the ones that are like trying to being more like keeping it business as usual. Like teams have like closed their facilities down because of the virus and everything like that. The league has put in some measures and all that stuff to make sure nobody does anything. I mean, like when free agency started up back in March and all that stuff, there were conditions of like you cannot travel and all that stuff and everything like that to go to meet with players and everything like that, which caused a little issue with signings also because you have to in order to complete the signing, you have to complete a physical, and in order to do that physical, you have to go to the team's facility to do that, and travel's a no and all that stuff. But I think they figured out a way to make those complete the deals still and everything like that.
Maybe they mailed it. I think he had to mail it back.
No.
That's kind of gross.
No.
That's gross.
No. But since we're still on football, and everything like that, there's an article I do want to bring up particularly, and all that stuff, and that's the one about how, say, if the Niners won the Super Bowl, Frisco would have a bigger chance of getting the virus more.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I found that so interesting for the fact of like they literally prevent themselves from doing something for making it worse.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, because like say if they apparently of course this past Super Bowl was against the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, of course. Niners lost, unfortunately, for those Niners fans and all that stuff. But apparently because like around that same time in February, that's when stuff started to catch up in that city for the virus and everything like that. House in Kansas City, no cases at the time. No cases or anything like that. Nothing positive or anything that happened. So it's like, the fact of the idea of the Niners literally helped their city out from making it worse by losing.
They gave them an even bigger win.
By losing a big football game and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, most likely, I guess fans are upset for the fact that they lost and all that stuff, no matter what. But it's for the fact that say they win the Super Bowl, they have the parade that following week, and then of course when it comes to the city of San Francisco, when they have the parades, especially if you're like a Giants, San Francisco Giants fan in Major League Baseball, who've won titles, who've won San Francisco Giants. I'm talking about right now. I just mentioned.
Oh, okay.
I just mentioned.
I was like, dude, they're in Santa Clara.
Yes, the Niners play in Santa Clara, but most likely the parade would have been in San Francisco.
Really? You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would have been in Santa Clara. So.
Why would you, Manny?
Because that's where you're at.
Manny, even though they play in Santa Clara, there was no way that a parade was not going to happen in San Francisco from a team that is called the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, that's weird though to me. Like they don't play in Frisco. Why are you gonna have it like that? Are the Raiders still gonna be the Oakland Raiders in Las Vegas? No. Like
that's a whole different thing in itself.
If they move to Berkeley, are they gonna be the Berkeley Raiders? No, they're gonna be the Oakland Raiders still. That's weird.
Manny, you do realize that
Wait,
they're
Berkeley's
not.
close to, right?
Berkeley's closer to Oakland, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So see, if they move to Berkeley,
I can't believe we're having this discussion right now.
They still wouldn't be called the Berkeley Raiders. They'd be called the Oakland Raiders still, and that's weird. Like they're not in that city. Like why are they still named?
You do know the Niners are not the only team that does this, right?
Yeah, I know, but it's even for all other teams.
Then why are we having this discussion?
Because it happens to do with the subject.
What subject?
The parade subject.
You're bringing up something that's off topic, really, because this is more about the virus, and I'm talking about more about the virus, and then I'm talking about a freaking location.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
It's just something I had to get off my chest, Evan.
If we had a sports podcast,
right,
then
let it out.
If we had an all sports podcast, then maybe I could understand your situation at that time. But no,
I just had to get that out.
And all that stuff. So, I overall though, the fact of the 49ers lost a game in order and actually helps them prevent a bigger loss of people either getting the virus or dying from it and all that stuff I think is pretty freaking crazy and magnificent at the same time and all that stuff. Because just imagine, say like that people went the parade being with it being in Frisco, and all that stuff. People going to that parade and all that stuff, and people do, and that a lot of people do go to go to the parades if you happen, especially when the Giants won like 3 titles in the MLB and all that stuff, and those parades were massive and all that stuff. And it's been ridiculous. Imagine if our friend went to that parade.
Sorry, dude.
Oh my god.
I mean, like, I don't think you could be my friend no more, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
For a while, until he
Wow.
gets cured. Like,
That
once he
doesn't-
gets cured, I'll be like, all right, cool.
The fact that you said you wouldn't be his friend is just horrible. In
No,
the case.
not literally his friend. Like, I'd still be cool with him, but like, I wouldn't like. I still don't see him now, so I don't even know why I brought that up. It's not like we go to each other's house, so I don't know.
He's gonna hear this podcast and be like, wow.
I can already hear him. I can already see the message I can already see the message and everything. But I'm just saying, like, one, we would have to stay away from him, of course, in case if he did test positive for it.
That's what I meant.
That you
But
should
then
have
I
said it
don't know
like
why I said
that.
I
You
don't
should have
visit
said it
him.
like that. You should have just said it like
That's
that.
what I meant. Person that we're talking about. Almost
And
said
all
his
that
name
stuff.
there.
To the fact, like, say if he didn't know and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and we did hang out with him and all that stuff and everything.
And then not even us too, his family members.
His family members and everything like that. It's like
It would spread.
Yeah.
it just would have spread. It's just, and it's like you have to think, like, the fact of, like, most people that probably saw the article would probably like brush it off or something like that. But for me, it was just like thinking of that, like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
like, because what I just said right now literally went through my head and made me thought that and all that stuff, because it's like, and everything like that. So it's just, I just think it's like a blessing in disguise of sorts, but also and everything and all that stuff.
I feel like a lot of people still take it like nonchalantly a lot. They're just like, it's a virus, it's okay. If I die, I die. I'm about you die. You know, but it's just like at the same time, take its course. You know, for those who.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I just, like I said, that topic when I saw that, when I read that article, it was just like, oh snap.
Yeah, it's true because it's,
You're cutting off a lot, Isaac. Just to let you know.
Oh, I thought that was only me. Thank
That's
you.
up.
I was
So
like, I was like, I hope I'm not frozen right now.
But yeah, it's just crazy for all that stuff. Just to, like, hearing about that, seeing what could happen and all that stuff, and it's just like, oh my.
people don't.
Ooh.
Isaac, you're still cutting off, man.
Essential doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, want to repeat all that stuff you said before again?
Essential is
But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what to, I will say it's just like everyone should be blessed about that.
Yeah.
At the same time of, even though being upset and all that stuff, but it's just like, just imagine, because we're not that far away from Frisco where we live.
Yeah.
And everything and all that stuff, and I wouldn't know what to. It's just like, I'm just like, oh gosh, because that's the thing, because like when I think about that, seen that, if that parade happened, there would probably be a possible chance I probably would have went with them.
Really?
Well, if it was on a weekend,
that.
if it was on a weekend, and all that stuff, and just
Cool.
and all that stuff, especially if it was on a
You would've
weekend, I probably
most likely been on a weekend.
no. Most parades end up on a weekday.
Really?
Yeah,
When was the Warriors parade?
on a weekday. And all that stuff,
Anyways.
because they always tend to happen like at least a couple days before, like a couple days after they win it. And all that
Oh,
stuff.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So unless but most of the times, every time I seen a parade, all that stuff after, it's always happened on a weekday.
Oh, okay.
And all that stuff. And
Well, we would have still been able to make it though, even if no matter what time of the.
they're it's in the morning. I work.
Oh yeah, you can work. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So like I said, if it happened, if it was on a weekend, I probably would have went with them just to check it out
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
I feel like it'd be a cool experience.
Oh yeah, of course. Who
I
doesn't
was,
want?
I
Who
almost I
doesn't?
almost went to the Warriors game.
Who doesn't want to go
The
see?
Warriors parade, I mean.
Who doesn't want to go to a championship parade for their winning for their team and all that stuff? Who wouldn't want to go do that? Like, trust me, like I'm a Warriors fan and I've missed out on three of them.
I almost went to the last one,
All that stuff, and
but
it's
then
Didn't you
I was
always
like,
try to
nah.
go and then like something always happened when the boys came up?
for who, Manny?
No,
for
for you, Ricky.
For me,
Yeah.
because like I said, they end up on a weekday.
Was it all like always on Sunday?
They've never been on a week. They've never been on a weekend.
Apparently, no.
Oh,
A championship
Sundays I
race.
understand, but
A championship. If it was on a Sunday, I would have went. Still, I would have went.
no. What I'm saying is like I understand why it's not on Sunday because usually the games are for football wise, not basketball wise, right?
I was just talking about championship parades in general.
No, I was saying like I don't know. I mentioned Sunday. So.
I know. I was like,
I
why?
said-
I was like, I and after before even and I when I just said if it was on a Sunday, I still would have went.
Yeah, no. But I'm saying it wouldn't be on a Sunday though, because you said weekdays, and I was like, oh dang, it. My dog came out.
For audio listeners, his light went off on him
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
the dog smacked my pillow, which is holding that.
What I'm getting at is if a championship parade, no matter what team league it was on, if it was on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I would go.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting at. And all that stuff. And I think you were mentioning about football because you mentioned Sunday and all that stuff. Yes, the Super Bowl's on a Sunday. If they did it like a week later, after the Super Bowl, which is on a Sunday, I would have went.
That's not what I was talking about.
That's not what you're talking about.
No. Nah,
Then what do you?
because you said most of the time it's on the week, and I was like, well, I understand if it was like during the week, because what you said that usually it's on a Sunday and a couple of days after. And I was like, I understand if it was all during the week or on a Saturday, but Sunday wouldn't really make too much sense to me. 'Cause I feel like that'd be way too long to wait, like what you're saying.
Oh, now I get what you're saying. Like, what the heck are you
Yeah.
talking about? Well, waiting a week. I mean, no, I can understand waiting a week because like you want players are coming back. They probably want to rest and everything like that and everything for a while before it's doing something. I mean, I can understand that. I can understand it from that point of view if they want to wait a week. But I know like normally it's like 2 or 3 days after winning a title when parades happen, and it's just like, and then most of the times they end up being on a weekday, from what I've seen, from teams I've watched that win titles and all that stuff and everything.
yeah.
But I think we should talk about the island.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
snap,
Mortal
Isaac.
Kombat.
Oh, that'd be so cool if they did like a Mortal Kombat event,
So,
like just themed.
have you
like
not seen them?
actual-
Have you not seen the memes? There's been Mortal Kombat references to the memes to this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Israel Adesanya has been making a lot of Mortal Kombat memes.
So,
They all get named after characters.
Isaac, I think you know more about this than most of us, than the two of us.
So-
Yeah.
So when I was researching about the fight, I'm not cutting off now, right? I'm good.
You're good
No,
so
you're
far.
good.
Okay, good. I was looking up on Dana White about how the idea came about, and it wasn't really nothing fancy because I was just like, I honestly thought like, okay, did he watch like Mortal Kombat? He's like, just do Fight Island. I kind of thought that that's where he was going, but not really. He was coming from a standpoint of like, hey, we need to be creative and producing entertainment, and so that's where him and another buddy found Fire Island. And as of right now, they might be able to be having fights within a month. I don't know how accurate that is. And the island is according to him, the island is like being prepared as of right now. Everything's getting set up for future fights, but he didn't really discuss the details on anything. He didn't discuss, where the island's going to be, and he didn't discuss how they're going to stream it. So that's still up in the air. I think what we already discussed already about how a fight would commence, I would see it being done like that. Um, and the only reason why he wants to fight Ireland is so he can have international fights, not just United States fights. He wants to be able to
Yeah,
bring in international fighters because it'll be
that's dope.
international waters.
That'll be dope.
So that's as far as the public knows. And as for fighters, I bring up a lot of Israel Adesanya because I follow him on Instagram. But he made a comment saying that he's very interested, and a lot of other guys are very interested. Like Dos Santos is interested. Even I didn't know he was fighting. You know, he's heck old. But a lot of other fighters are agreeing to, commit to the Fight Island. So as far as I know, it's being constructed and done, and see how everything turns out. So you guys gonna give your opinions about how that's gonna go about, because that's all I know so far.
I'm personally excited for it, but I
I'm
want to know
interested.
how it's
Yeah,
gonna be. How it's gonna be visually, like streaming wise. How's it gonna be? And
yeah.
then two, I want to know is once this whole virus is over and pandemic's over, will they also be still doing like MGM Grand events, Honda Center
To
events?
to my knowledge, I think the Fire Island will be permanent. Um,
So
so
there'll be
not
like no
permanent
more
as
live
in.
events. You think?
Yeah, well, I don't think permanent as in like they're only going to do it on Fight Island, but it would be a part of the UFC where they're able to do it on Fight Island as well, not just
It would be
Las
like
Vegas.
it would be part of the rotation of where they place
Yeah,
fights.
which
Alright,
honestly is a
that's pretty cool.
smart move for Dana White, because that means a lot more money in his pocket, because the island doesn't belong to anybody; it belongs to him.
Yeah, he doesn't have
I
to rent
bet
anything.
he doesn't have to rent anything out. For Vegas, everything belongs, to the
To
MGM,
MGM.
to T-Mobile, and so his having his whole Fight Island just means a lot of revenue for him, because it would be his own. It would be like an actual UFC, um, all
Island.
UFC thing.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Now,
And
can
then
you
go ahead,
go
go
on?
ahead.
Okay. Now, do you see there being crowds on Fight Island in the future?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. I think it will be a huge spectacle having when the quarantine's over and you're able to
Yeah,
fly to Fight Island,
that'd
dude.
be so cool, dude.
That would be
Like,
sick. I'm like, bro,
like
let's
a
get on a
UFC
plane.
hotel,
Yeah,
go
exactly.
see a
Like,
big event. That'd be pretty
go
cool,
see a
actually.
big event. I mean, I would love to go like on a guy's trip to go
Yeah,
to. I think that's just like,
that'd be like the male version of Hawaii.
not like that though.
No, like you know how Hawaii's for like family and like couples.
Yeah, but this is like
This
martial
would be
art
like a
heaven.
guy. Yeah, this would be like a guys or like martial arts enthusiast Hawaii.
I mean, I bet there's a lot of girls that are like it too.
Yeah,
I
well,
think it's
martial arts.
very. I don't think it has a gender to it, but I think
No.
everyone will love it.
Yeah.
Um, I think Fire Island cannot just be a place to have fights, man. I think it can be a huge attraction in itself, not just to have events, but it can have actual people there to actually have training centers.
That'd be dope.
That would be dope.
Like the one in Sacramento. Have you seen the one in Sacramento?
No, no,
The
I
UFC
haven't.
gym in Sacramento. Oh,
Have you been there?
I passed by it and I looked. I didn't look inside personally, but I really want to look inside.
Hmm.
But from what I've seen on the outside and pictures from the inside, looks real awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they did have like a UFC like station there.
It makes sense. Because
Yeah.
supposedly aren't the fighters going to be there for quite a while, right?
For Fire Island.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they would all be in a hotel. They would have their own training quarter, honestly.
Oh, okay. So it'd be
Yeah.
like their personal UFC gym, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how big this island is, honestly. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's like capable to hold that many training centers, because I think depending on who's on the card would be over there only separately. It would
Oh,
all
okay.
be divided on that island probably,
Yeah.
which probably make more sense. Not have everybody clustered together in one hotel room, or not one hotel,
Yeah.
but like in the same hotel.
Yeah.
I think there'll probably be, multiple different living quarters to make sure the fighters are kept clean, and making sure they have that social distancing until the fight is
Yeah.
ready to go. But all in all, to say, I'm very interested in how this is going to play out. I hope everything comes together, and I hope we were able to get the fight that we wanted in the first place before everything happened with Khabib and Ferguson. Everybody wanted to see that fight, so hopefully
Mhm.
Khabib is not gonna be like, oh, I don't want to contract anything, because I'll be pissed. I'm like, dude, just go. It's just
It's
you.
like,
You know
dude,
what
you
I'm
fought a
saying?
bear. What you mean contracting?
Yeah, you'll be fine. But
Yeah. You haven't seen the video, Ricky?
Um, I'm not gonna say
Oh, you
anything.
gotta look up
Yeah.
Khabib versus Bear. It's actually really cool.
oh yeah, he does wrestle bears.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, all in all to say, I mean, I'm honestly interested to see how it plays out. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are all about that, and what do you guys think is gonna happen or how they're gonna do it.
I can see the whole thing that you were saying that the individual living places like dorms kind of a thing, like what you were saying. Kind of like, have you seen Donald Cerrone's Ranch? I don't know if you've seen it.
What was it? Say it again.
Uh, Donald Cerrone's Ranch, the BMF Ranch.
I seen it.
Have you seen the dorms, the styles he does?
No, I don't. I don't
Oh,
think I've
okay.
seen that.
So it's basically like not kind of like a college dorm setup kind of a thing,
Hmm.
but like a little bit different. I can see them doing something like that, or maybe like individual housing. I can see
Yeah,
something like that.
definitely.
Yeah, just like specifically for the fighters on the card, not for everybody, but like something like that. And then like a hotel maybe in the future or something like that. Like what you're saying, like a fight island for guests and vacationers. But personally, I can see them doing like a living space, like separated from each other, kind of like a
Yeah,
condominium or something like that, like a mini version of that.
yeah.
I can see that.
Now when the whole pandemic is over, like I said, it's gonna turn into a huge attraction. That whole
Yeah,
island is gonna be a huge attraction. That's just martial
yeah,
art heaven to people.
yeah.
And it's like honestly a real life blood sport movie coming to life, and it's just like
Yeah.
what? So yeah, I'm excited. I would love to go there honestly, and I hope
Oh,
you guys will come with me.
I'm definitely going. I'm definitely going.
So what
I
about
will
you,
take
Ricky?
time out from school to go there.
Damn.
Yeah, especially if the Diaz brothers, Cerrone, or ah,
I
I
like
can miss Khabib
McGregor.
fight.
I don't
I
care
can
what
miss
people
Khabib
say.
fight.
I like McGregor.
McGregor's cool, but I wouldn't miss schooling for him. I'd miss schooling for any of the Diaz brothers or Cerrone
Anthony
guys.
Pettis, he's
Pettis
a
is
good
cool.
fighter.
Alistar Overeem was really cool too. I personally like him.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah, I can
John
stand
Jones, even though he's oh my god, that guy could just never get it together.
Oh, I would miss one for Paulo Costa too.
Okay,
He's
that's
pretty cool.
interesting. What about you, Ricky? What do you think about the whole situation?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't miss this. I don't know.
In all honesty, it's a smart idea, event wise, especially
Mm.
after the virus. For the fact that you can probably do 2 events a year in the island, especially if they're like big cards.
Yeah.
And all that, for that, I can see that happening and all that stuff for so that way you don't overuse it, because that's the one thing. I wouldn't say it's the one concern I'm gonna have for it. But it's something I would keep an eye on, depending on
So
how
like
many.
you, so you think they should make it like a special thing, right? Kind
Yeah,
of a thing.
yeah.
Okay,
I
I can
don't.
see that.
I don't. I like the idea of Fight Island and everything for it, especially once everything's cleared after the virus. For the fact of like I said, doing one or two minimum a year.
Yeah, enough to keep the hype up, but not enough to overdo it,
And
right?
so that way it's on the cart, and then it's like you're not overusing it, because the last thing you want to do is overuse that area, especially for the fact of, especially like in the last couple of years of the UFC, we've seen a lot of fights getting not canceled, but like cards get changed and all that stuff and everything like that,
Yeah,
and it comes to a point
injuries and
where,
everything.
due to injuries and everything like that, and it leads to like stuff like having to try to get someone booked last minute and all that stuff, especially if you're gonna do it in an island of sorts too.
Yeah,
Try booking someone last minute and to have them come to an island. That's why I like
yeah,
the idea of the fact of them having the fighters that are gonna be on the card into the island, so that way they can train. that is good. That is cool and everything like that. Now, in this situation, I'm 50-50 on it as of right for now, because I know they said they're planning on doing something next month for it and all that stuff. Like I said, it's all about having. I say hopefully you're gonna have your fighters tested for the virus. Nothing changes between now and then, such as training and schedules and all that stuff and everything like that. Travels is like one of the biggest things and all that stuff right now for the virus, with this virus and everything like that, and also people willing to go. That's why I'm gonna be honest. When Khabib said he wasn't gonna fight because of this, I actually supported him on that and all that stuff. Like as much as like he has his things and all that stuff and everything like that, I can understand that. But the fact that he was willing to not participate in the fight for the fact of he doesn't want to risk that happening to other people within that card, and not just himself and everything like that. Yeah, like because he is a title holder. If I'm correct, Ferguson was the interim title holder. If I'm correct, right?
Who was it? Yeah,
Ferguson was the interim.
Yeah.
So that right there, main event, big card, and all that stuff, title on the line and everything like that. That would have been a payday, win or lose, and all that for him. And the fact that he's giving that up for the safety of not just himself but everybody else, most likely, and all that stuff. I don't know the whole deal of what made him give him the decision to do this, to not do it, whether if it was for everyone's safety or just himself. It says a lot just in general, the fact that he was like, I'm not going to do it just for the fact of getting to present myself and all that stuff. And all that stuff. And of course, the other concern is infrastructure. And what I mean for that is, is the island have stuff for like power, build stuff to get building structure and all that stuff? If it is like, because like if you're, especially now, if you're going to think of it for next month, the arena, is this going to be like an outdoor thing? Do you have something like miniaturized, structured already, something to keep it like an indoor kind of venue thing? If it is like something they want to do they have a long-term plan for this? Such as like, because like you guys mentioned already about hotels and all that stuff. We don't even know if this island itself has buildings in particularly as of right now and all that stuff. And we're already, and you guys were talking about hotels. You guys were talking about hotels.
Have you guys seen Street Beefs on YouTube?
Nah.
What was that?
Street Beefs on YouTube.
Yes.
It's like that.
No, it's just
it's like wood octagons.
Oh,
so it's like I mean, like I said, it's like the idea of Fight Island is an awesome idea and all that stuff, especially on a long term view and all that stuff. As of right now, it's kind of tough and all that stuff. Like you mentioned the money, you mentioned all that stuff, taking care of the fighters who are going to be on the card. Now that's the other thing too. Now, most UFC fights on a fight card in general, there's the main card and then the undercard, and then they're all separate, and then another card under that where it's like showed somewhere else, depending on where it's going to be viewed. Now, are they going to take care of all of their fighters? Or are they going to take care of the names and all that stuff, such as like the Khabibs, the McGregors, the Nunez's and everything like that, the title holders in particularly and all that stuff? How else you have even the Diaz brothers of sorts and everything like that, maybe too, and all that stuff. Like, are you just going to take care of them, or are you going to take care of everybody else that's going to be on that card and all that stuff, and everything. Yeah. So it's like I
would think they would take care of the rest of the card, because if one of them gets it, that's it. It's game over.
Exactly.
Shut down that whole event.
Well, that's short term, yeah, of course. But it's like, if the virus wasn't the virus never happened, this Fight Island thing becomes is like something that's happening just in real life in general, and all that stuff. And then it's like, you're gonna do your first fight sooner than you should. Like I said, I hope for the fact that the UFC is not only is taking care of their fighters in the undercard as much as they will for their big names and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's like that's the one thing about the UFC that I kind of don't like as much. How much they cater to their big names, a lot.
Yeah.
And all that
The
stuff.
A side versus the B side.
And all that stuff and everything. And it's like, when you have all these fighters coming in on this and everything like that, and payday is going to be a big thing. I think payday is going to be a big issue on this also, and all that stuff because you're going to have them come out to this island and all that stuff. They better be paid for something and just for them coming out to the trip and all that stuff. Because if you don't know, because also most fighters in the UFC also this is probably their jobs, their full-time jobs, and also not all of them have some. There are fighters that have like another job along with fighting and everything like that, but some fighters and all that stuff, this is their livelihood right here and all that stuff and everything like that.
As far as I know, I think the max I've heard that someone had a gym, right? About it. That most of them have a training gym set up.
Exactly.
I think that's about it, other than like job wise. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, not only are you gonna pay for them for this big deal, for this big of a fight and all that stuff, and this card going to this island and all that stuff. It's like, are you gonna take care of them when they're on this island and everything that and all that stuff? Because like you're most likely, because you're gonna probably see this prospect fighter that's doing really well, probably going undefeated, but this guy probably doesn't have enough to pay to make a trip out there and all that stuff and everything like that, all that stuff and everything. And it's just like he knows he wants this money so that way it can benefit him in the future and all that stuff, and probably become a big star in himself and all that stuff. And then the fact that there's possible chance of like he's probably able to go to island. He's probably not gonna probably stay if on a hotel or wherever they're gonna have him stay is probably not gonna be best as probably of what the big names are probably gonna get. Maybe, I don't know, and all that stuff. It's just like there's a lot of work. I hate to be like that person that has to look at the worst case scenarios and all that stuff because like I said, I love the idea of Fight Island. I do, and all that stuff.
So you're worried it's gonna be like this is an extreme. What I'm gonna give is an extreme example, but so something like, have you seen the like Saudi Arabia pictures where it's like that's the rich side and they're like living like glorious?
Okay,
and,
not
like,
that. I'm not going that far too extreme.
No, that's just an extreme.
That's an
example.
extreme.
I'm saying like you think that you're worried that the big fighter is gonna get like a mini condo kind of a thing, and then like all the undercards are gonna stay like together in one hotel.
Something like that. Exactly. How you guys mentioned of like the big name, like the fighters themselves will be in this Paris house, like the coaching staff and everything, like probably gonna be somewhere else entirely, and all that stuff. Like similar to like how you guys were talking about that and all that stuff. But this is more compared to the fighters in general and all that stuff. Because like honestly, it's like the UFC are not gonna put just a main card on this thing. It has to be like a card with so many people with an undercard itself and everything like that, in order to like so that way people can watch it, they can see everything and all that stuff and everything like that. And then, of course, I'm gonna have to get to this point. We're gonna have to get to this point sooner or later, especially once this quarantine's done. What if this is gonna be something where fans are going to be able to go? Prices are gonna be ridiculous, in all honesty, and all that stuff. Now, see, and that's the thing about what I mentioned about infrastructure. About when I mentioned about now how it's like if it's just gonna be a ring in an outdoor setting and all that stuff. How is seating gonna be portrayed? Are you gonna have the idea of maybe building some kind of arena of sorts to hold a good amount of people to watch the fight and everything like that? Do you have the infrastructure of like making sure of not just the hotels for fighters, but also for people who are going to stay and all that stuff and everything? Businesses that are going to be like, see, and that's the other thing. Businesses in general, are you going to have
like restaurants and bars?
Exactly. Like you have to because Fight Island, just from the idea, the concept itself is a cool idea, but you have to make sure of everything that surrounds it.
Yeah.
Because like if you're gonna have people there for like a 3-day weekend of sorts and everything like that to watch a fight and all that stuff,
they got just in that room.
They have to have something outside of that fight itself and everything like that. That's why it's like, for me, I'm a Raiders fan. Of course, the Raiders are in Vegas now and all that stuff coming this coming up season, I can look at so many opportunities of how to build that weekend out. If I wanted to go, if I wanted to go to a Vegas game for Vegas and all that stuff and everything like that, so you can literally like you can come in on Wednesday, Thursday you can hang out the strip, Friday up at the possible chance of probably watching a Golden Knights game and all that stuff because hockey season will be around that time, say for like in like October, November around that time. And all that stuff. Saturday, the UFC, if a UFC fight, whether it be a big card or if something that's on mainstay TV,
that'd be tight, actually.
and all that stuff. And then Sunday is the game itself, and all that stuff, and everything.
If that schedule happened, that'd be amazing.
That's that's been in my head the day the Raiders announced they're going to Vegas. That's been in my head.
You're just waiting. You're like, I'm waiting for it.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the perfect opportunity to do it.
Don't they have an MLS team, right? Or no? They
Not
want
yet.
an MLS team.
No, they don't have an MLS team. They want one. Hopefully, I don't know for sure. There's an if this was a sports podcast, there's a topic I want to bring. I would love to bring up, but I can't talk about it right now.
Dude, I remember like a couple years before the arena was even built, we went to Vegas or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing a sign. It was like hashtag Vegas want talkie, and it was like NHL.com, and I was like, oh, that's dope. And then like we drove past it, and like it like slipped out of my mind for like a while, and then like I heard like NHL that like they were like expanding. And I was like, oh, dang. I was like, and I remember the sign. I was like, I wonder if Vegas is going to get their team that they wanted. And I was like, I don't know.
Yes.
And then, like, a couple months passed, and it was all of a sudden, it was like, Vegas gets a team. And I was like, oh, damn, that's kind of dope. And I was like, that's pretty dope.
But no, but yeah, overall,
That was
with,
a side story.
I know. overall, though, with the concept, the idea, the fact that it's actually is possibly happening is exciting. Don't get me wrong. It's exciting. I'm excited. I am excited. But it's just like short term as of right now. Is it worth it to do it? Second of all, long term concerns. Can you be able to keep this up? Like and all that stuff. Like because the thing is like the fact that I said like the fact that having it two times a year is a good thing for it. What about that area in general when there is no fights? Because that's the other thing about it. That's the other thing about it. Because like that's the thing. It's like. You're going to have people working there. You're going to have people there on a consistent basis and everything like that. It's like, I don't see the point of keeping it closed and all that stuff when you're going to have stuff and everything like that. How from what I just mentioned too. Because like I said, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be a really tricky thing.
You're saying like businesses wise, right? Like other businesses?
Yeah, because it's
like restaurants and stuff.
Because it's like I said, it's going to be tricky to have that stuff.
Yeah, because at that point it'd be like a tourist location.
And exactly. And
I think that's where they're trying to. I think that's what they're trying to go to. I mean,
but
I think that's eventually the end game.
If it is, I hope I wish them all well, and hopefully it's successful and all that stuff. But it's just like, has Dana White and the company that now owns UFC really thought about that thought about that end game really, or is it just for the fact of hey. Let's try to get an eye, or is it like, hey, Dana White happened to watch Mortal Kombat, we should try to do this thing, or has it really been like that? Because so far from what it looks like,
I have faith that they've already thought this through. They just haven't given us information on it yet.
True.
That's what I'm praying for. That Dana White's smart enough to. I believe that Dana White's smart enough to think everything through before he just does it.
Oh no, and I get and I'm sure he has. But the thing is, though,
he has thought this out. He just hasn't revealed it yet. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. The fact that you've already mentioned an island and nothing else in particularly, wouldn't you want to get that? Wouldn't you want to do that to capitalize on that? So that way, between now and then, whenever that end game comes, it comes into fruition. Because that's the thing because if you look at how stadiums in general get how new stadiums are generated, they have. Once they announce that they're building a new stadium, they show they show the location, they show where it's at, they have the renders of what it's supposed to look like and all that stuff, and what can possibly come of it, and all that stuff. And there because those take a long-term plan. Those takes a long time to get those coming to fruition. Wouldn't you want to do the same thing for this and all that stuff? Because right now it just feels like the only reason why they're doing this now is because of the virus and all that stuff. Yeah, and all that stuff, and nothing else has come up after that.
Well, hasn't he talked about it before the virus, right?
I don't believe so.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But I think also too. I think they're just trying to take it step by step to see if how successful the Fire Island can be during this time. And I think that when they see that how successful it is and everything plays out the way they think it's going to play out, I think that's when they're going to start investing more money into attractions because you can do a lot with islands, especially Fire Island, and just the name itself just brings interest. And I think
Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah.
can even have a like a Ultimate Fighter reality TV show there. That would be
You
kind of
That'd
cool.
be
you could
pretty
do
dope.
okay. So
And you
there's
even have an
that.
audience at that.
Also, knowing Dana for a smart man that he is, and I hope he does. I really hope he does. You don't just have to do UFC fights.
Nah,
Nah, he'd probably
you can
do a
do
lot.
boxing events.
He probably might get with the zone, probably, and probably do something over there as well.
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because I know I said 2 UFC fights in general to make them big cards and all that stuff. But like I said, like I mentioned, it's like what's going to happen after that, after the 2 fights. Boxing can work, and he is a big boxing fan
Yeah.
himself and everything like that. He can do boxing. He has that partnership with ESPN that not only broadcasts their fights but also does the pay-per-views. ESPN is a partner with Top Ranked, one of the top boxing promoters and all that stuff. So that can be something right there to put a couple cards on the Fight Island and all that stuff.
I think he might. I think he might join with the Zone and Top Rank because I know for sure that HBO Boxing and Showtime Boxing they own Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's their stomping ground.
oh yeah.
But now the Zone, has signed Canelo, Fury, Deontay Wilder, and I don't know if Fury and Anthony Joshua are going to be on the Zone, but I think they might. Just having those big names in the Zone, I think Dana White would be smart enough to like partner with the Zone and have actual fights on his island.
Now this
Yeah.
could
I think he should be smart like that.
Now this is something that's totally out of our comfort area and all that stuff to talk about. But wouldn't that be like a media situation though? Because since you already have a partnership with ESPN and doing something with the Zone, wouldn't that cause like conflict or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know the
I
media
don't
side
know.
of this stuff.
Like on a media
Because-
rights perspective and all that stuff.
What
mean-
does ESPN own?
Well-
Do they own Showtime and HBO?
Huh?
Do they own like HBO Boxing and Showtime
No.
Boxing?
Well, no, because like I said, they have Top Rank for their boxing for boxing and all that stuff. That's why I said it makes sense for the fact that since ESPN does distribute showing Top Rank boxing and all that stuff and everything like that, along with the UFC, that makes sense right there. The Zone, which is an entirely different company especially for media wise and all that stuff. I don't know if there can be a deal that can work out with that and all that stuff because of the money and all that
They
stuff.
will.
And all that stuff.
If it generates millions of dollars, dude, they'll make something happen.
I mean, I
They'll
can see it like Fight Island as itself as a thing, as a separate property in total from the UFC. It's not have to be like a UFC committed thing. Like
Yeah.
it's more of like the company that owns UFC. I don't know their name right now at the top of my head, but they're the owners along with Dana White, and then that can help them. That can help them out, probably give them more leeway to do that kind of stuff to get a deal with the Zone or hell, maybe even with HBO and Showtime Boxing of sorts and everything like that. Because that can help them out money wise and all that stuff too.
Because if you think about it, if Dana White pulls off the Fire Island and generates a whole lot of money, I guarantee all those other networks are going to want a piece of it, and they're going to want to at least sign some kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So I think for sure we'll see something from HBO, Showtime, The Zone, and ESPN in itself. If it's generating that much money, they're going to want a piece of the action.
Yeah, that's what. But see, like that's the thing though. It's like to get that stuff to happen, everything else needs to come in place. Like
Yeah, exactly. If Dana White was a smart person, he would be like, I own all this, and you guys can rent it out now.
because like
So,
I don't
that would
know
be a smart
how
move for him.
private islands work once you buy them, and how like infrastructure works, such as like getting buildings, even electricity. That's one thing too. Because how is all this stuff gonna work if there's no electricity
Yeah.
and all that stuff? And of course, power network, like such as like internet and Wi-Fi and all that stuff and everything like that, so that way everything can work correctly. Because if you're gonna have reporters come down, they're gonna tweet their bums off about like stuff like happening and all that stuff. Because I do on my Twitter, I do follow like certain not promoters but like boxing and MMA reporters that like live tweet the fights and all that stuff and everything like that.
Bleacher reports
and all that stuff and everything. So it's like that's another thing in there particularly that's gonna have to happen and everything like that. So like I said, I'm all for it. I'm excited about it. Like I said, I just have concerns on the short term and the long term, and about them and other stuff. And I hope, and then like I said, Dana White is a genius. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and I really do. He hopes he knows what he's doing with the Fight Island. And that's all I gotta say.
We are coming to a close right now, so I don't know if you guys want to end with a question about what do you think about sports? Do you think it's going to come back the time frame they think is going to come back, or you think it's going to be another year until they actually have fans and all the league reopen? And we can start off with Ricky.
I will not be surprised if we do not crown an NBA, a World Series, and an MLS Cup champion. We already have a Super Bowl champion this year, or a Stanley Cup champion. I will not be surprised if we do not crown any one of those kind of champions this year, or a new Super Bowl champion beginning of next year, and all that stuff.
And the next question would be for your closing thought. Do you see sports coming back this year or next year?
Next year.
Next year.
Next year.
I really think it's gonna be tough. I think if the conditions of how the virus spreads and it gets better to a point where they can go to a point where it has to be no fans. I'd rather have it be no fans than some fans. In all honesty, I'd rather be no fans than one, because if you remember, Trump brought this up about saying like when they do tend to come to the leagues opening up again and everything like that, they want to put people in, but like in a social distance manner, have like one in every other seat. I'm like, no, you're not filling. There's no way of filling up an NFL stadium like that and all that stuff and everything, in particularly and all that stuff. I'd rather have it no fans, able to watch it on TV and all that stuff and everything like that, and then just enjoy it from, well, unfortunately for us, and particularly for NFL in particular, watch it on TV and all that stuff. Oh well, we have the afternoon games on Sunday night, Monday night, but still, NBA. If this season gets canceled and they do a new one, hopefully by Christmas this year, if everything be better. Same thing with the NHL. Baseball can probably kiss its seasons goodbye because there's no way this is probably going to happen this year. Soccer, it's hard because there's so many leagues to know for sure. But hopefully they get those situated.
Soccer is one I can definitely see doing no fans.
They did Premier League did it for a bit. But then certain players from certain other leagues were testing positive.
Oh, okay.
So then they decided to postpone it. The European leagues, and particularly the leagues in Europe, are debating on what to do for the rest of the season. But hopefully it's just more postponed. Or just cancel the season in general. It's gonna suck money wise for them. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but you have to worry about those. You have to worry about everybody else. I will say it's like the reason why I'm not upset as much as most people are, because I have esports.
True.
And all that stuff. So I still I have that to deal. I have that to enjoy at least.
And what about you, Manny? What's your closing thoughts about sports? Do you feel the same way as Ricky, or you have a different?
Somewhat, but I feel like they're gonna, like what they're doing now, like, we're expected to come back June, we're expected to come back August. You know what I mean? I feel like they're just gonna start like, we can't do it, but we're gonna try for July, and then in July they're gonna push it back again. And I feel like they're just gonna do that for a couple months maybe, and just decide to do it next year. I don't see any sports coming back until next year at minimum.
Nice. Yeah.
particularly for to add on to that, particularly for NBA, NHL. Around this time, it's playoff season right now,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So if they decide to postpone it again from their original intent dates, those might as well just be cancellations
Yeah.
and all
No,
that
those
stuff.
two I can see getting canceled this season and then
And all that stuff.
restarting again next
Because
season.
I don't want to. Because like the thing is, as if it was coming back, say end of this month, early May, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But if since the return date is for June for both leagues, and there's most likely a possible chance of it happening again, you might as well just cancel it and all that stuff. But that's all I can say on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are coming to a close on our topic of COVID, and to wrap it all up, we have gone from Fire Island to when sports will return. The final answer is, but I think we're all agree on this, is that we might see it coming next year. I'm excited to see the creativity of what's going to be happening in the next few months of UFC, or if any of the other networks or leagues want to jump on the creativity. I'm interested to see what will happen. But all in all, the message to our viewers is to stay home, be safe,
Positive.
be positive, keep clean, and most importantly, just keep holding on, and let's just beat this together. And this is the No Name Podcast signing off. We'll
Don't
see
be
you
afraid.
next week.
Don't be afraid of esports.